All right. So tonight on your first night back, we also have a new student that was coming in. You guys were both learning the same thing. We only have a few more weeks with you, but we do need to get a little bit in on state law and state board rules. Okay. Since you're going to see this on the exam, I wanted to bring it to your attention because I had a student pass this week, well, she passed today, passed her exam. And then I had a teacher pass her exam maybe about 2 weeks ago. And both of them stated that they needed some extra, studying on the state law. So as you're coming back, I want to make sure we jump into this a little bit. I'm gonna send you a copy of this, and we will be for the next couple of weeks. We'll be going through this because there are particular questions that you will have to answer. So I want you to be able to print it off if you can, or just upload it and highlight those study areas. Okay. I am recording this for review as well. Anytime that we're going over any kind of state board prep or state law, um, as far as your other practicals, your theory to finish off this phase one, we will have chapter 8 on down in the white book, from facials to advanced treatments, makeup. Um, um, those are some of the chapters that are left. It's only about 3 or 4 of them that are left that we will go through, and that actually will conclude your course, and we will move into state board prep. And this is just where we are right now, just accelerating over into state board prep as we complete those last 3 chapters. Look at, let's do a check. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see where it says rules of Tennessee Board of Cosmetology and Barber Exams. Put a 1 in the chat if you could see that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, awesome. So let's go back to our screen. And again, we won't be on that long. Let's see where our screen is. Okay. All right. So there are 2 sections to the licensing component of state law. All right. I'm going to highlight a few little areas, and it starts off saying the requirements for a school. One of the major things that you need to look at when we talk about requirements for the school, it's not a lot on there. You need to know expiration dates. Okay, expiration dates. A school license expires every year, September 1st. So the school has to renew their license every year by September 1st. All right. Um, and these first couple of pages, it talks about what are the requirements to open up a school, and some of the all of the things that we follow. We are considered an apprenticeship school, so we do not have square footage requirement, and equipment is not required as well. All right. Looking at number 6, let's highlight here. This is one of those components for a school. Let's see. Let me highlight this. We're gonna go with yellow. Says all schools shall have a sign permanently posted stating that all services are performed by students. So no matter what type of school it is, you must have a sign that says all services are performed by students, all right? As far as instructional floor plan, no preference. It's not a major focus, but definitely read over it, okay? When we get to the new school, okay? When we get to the new school, these are some of the particulars I want you to make sure that you check out. Now, there was a meeting Monday in Nashville about some changes to state law, some changes to the actual exams. I will be reviewing that video, and whatever practical changes that are coming, I will be updating and State Board Prep videos for the practical with all of the new changes. So don't worry about the practical as they're updated. You're gonna get videos, okay? When we look at change of ownership and relocation, every time there's a relocation, you need to notify the board, okay? If there's a change of ownership, this is for school, you must notify the board, all right? There is usually a fee, okay? There is a fee that you must pay for change of ownership and for relocation, all right? And you must notify the board 30 days prior to the changes being made. So you just can't move, you have to notify the board. Under curriculum, where it says apprenticeship, okay? I'm gonna highlight this in yellow, but this is very important. This follows your program. Supervise, there you go, follows that program, all right? So what apprenticeship means in Tennessee is not the same apprenticeship that you would see in neighboring states. So Alabama, Georgia, and Texas, to be particularly with those states, the apprenticeship means that you will fall under a licensed professional in a salon and you would skip school. Okay. In Tennessee, you must go through the school, then you go to the licensed professional. All right. So be mindful of having conversations about apprenticeship students, because apprenticeship means something different in other states. So I have to always remind people when we're talking about Tennessee, it means something different in other states. Okay. So apprenticeship student means a student enrolled in a school participating in an apprenticeship program with the intention of completing the school's curriculum under the school's apprenticeship program. So basically, you will not be, if you start at apprenticeship, you will not be able to flip-flop back and forth to a traditional program. Our school at the moment, we do not offer traditional programs, only apprenticeship. Okay, so that's the reason why we could do the hybrid virtual. That's the, it maintains and gives us a very flexible schedule, that we're not in the building all the time, but we can meet on virtual and we can go into the building as needed on our schedules. The second part that I highlighted that you really need to look at too is supervising licensed professional. Okay, so this what makes apprenticeship so special in Tennessee. A supervising licensed professional that's going to be a professional with any of the beauty statuses of licensure under Tennessee. Okay, in the field of study. So if you're an esthetician, we want to pair you with an esthetician. If you're a cosmetology student, we want to pair you with a cosmetology student. Same for natural hair / specialty manicuring. Okay, a cosmetology student, cosmetology person that's a supervising licensed professional can take any of them but barbering. Okay, because you can do everything under cosmetology. All right. Now, that supervising licensed professional is responsible for signing off on your hours. Okay, they're like our eyes and ears in the salon. We would come and check on you, but they're responsible for signing off on those hours and having it to the school at the end of the month. Some people say the first of the month or the following month, but at the end of the month, we want to close out the month with those hours. All right. It had been said that those supervising professionals were at least 10 years. Okay. I do not see that anymore. I do not see that 10 years anymore. And this was revised December 2025. So that works out good. Okay, that works out good for a lot of people because you're not looking at that 10-year status. So let me double check. As I told you, so a lot of things have updated and come about, and I want to just continue to feed you those new updates. Welcome to our new person that just came on. We're excited to have you. We are talking about just the state law and some of the things that's familiar with Tennessee that every beauty professional must go over. So welcome to our team DCI, and this will be emailed to you as well. Okay, so if you can get to the chat, give us your name in the chat, and we say welcome. Put your name in the chat. This is one of our new Lash students. Okay, if you can get in the chat, go ahead and put that in the chat. We're gonna proceed. So this part of the curriculum, and this, I'm actually gonna do some highlighting, and this is what I'm gonna send over. So I hope it saves the highlights, and any of the highlight areas is what you particularly need to study. All right. Now, I'm gonna highlight this part in green. Okay. I'm gonna do green. Okay. I'm gonna do all the hours in green. You must know what each beauty sector, how many hours that someone has their notebook on. You need to know how many hours that a cosmetologist must have. So even though you're not a cosmetologist has 1,500 hours. All right. For manicuring, I'm putting it in green. You have to know this for state board. A manicurist has to get 600 hours. All right. 750. 750 is for esthetician. Okay. 300, that's natural hair. Okay. 300 is natural hair. Also, 300 is for instructors. Okay. And 300 for lash specialty. All right. Okay. So that's what under the cosmetology components, you may see this on the test. And so make sure you understand, I would do 300 and list everybody under 300. Who needs 300? Your natural hair, your instructors, and your eyelash specialists. Who needs 750? Estheticians. Who needs 600? 900 cosmetologists. It will be highlighted and it will be emailed to you. All right. Even our natural hair student will also get this. That's why it is general. Okay. That's why that you learn the state law. So let's look at apprenticeship. I'm going back into yellow. And it is still 10 years, guys. It is still 10 years. Now the school has partners who are already prepared to partner with us to be your supervisors. I am so happy that we put that in place. So if you have someone who has that 10-year experience that you want to use, okay, that's fine. But you don't have to be fearful or what I'm gonna do, because the school has a set of individuals ready, whether they're in their salons, manicure shops, skin shops, or just simply cosmetologists. Okay. So A gives a definition of supervised licensed professional. B tells you some of the responsibilities of the school that offers the apprenticeship program. All right. We have to keep your information for at least 7 years on file. All right. Anything can happen. We have to keep it for at least 7 years. Your daily log. All right. Our new student, you're doing some marks on the screen. Okay. We'll just pause it for a minute. I'll catch up in a minute. We do have to keep a daily log. Okay, so I have to read a student, I have to put you into home base, all right? When you came today, well, when you came on to Zoom, your hours started, all right? So your time started today. And so welcome back. It's been a great summer break, okay? And it's time to get it going. And then welcome to our new students as well. All right, so we have to keep a log, and we do that by every time we come on Zoom, there's a paper log, like who's on, and also is a clock in log on your home base, and that will be our 2 times clock in. So we can always verify if someone was on or not. If the board needed to ask for the call or the log, we're able to pull it up, okay? We take those hours and we add them up at the end of send them over to state board the first week or by the 10th of every month, okay? So whatever hours you clock in August, they will be sent in September, all right? The first week of September. Your apprenticeship, if you have your apprenticeship salon, you need to be approved by the school. Okay, it needs to be approved by the school. Once you're done, you will get a notarized transcript of your total hours completed, signed by the salon, shop, and establishment owner or the supervising licensed professional. All right, so all of that will be ready to go. Right now, to test in Tennessee, because we have so many laws that we have to update, and we're a Tennessee school. We want you to test in Tennessee. There can be a transfer of license to another state once you are licensed in Tennessee. Mississippi allows you to test, but Mississippi is on a different testing scale than Tennessee, a whole different company that goes by and does the testing. So whatever Mississippi requires, that is up to you to learn what Mississippi requires and then study for Mississippi and do what Mississippi wants you to do. But for right now, you're in the Tennessee program. We're going to teach you everything Tennessee and to get the Tennessee license. And then you can talk to any state you're going to move to or you want to work in and ask them about what that transfer, what that reciprocity looks like. Okay. Your supervisors must be at least 10 years experience, 10 years license. As I said before, we have an advisory crew. We have a group of individuals. You can find your own if you want to. I need to meet them. They need to fill out paperwork, and then we'll move on to the next end. Whatever, and we've been doing this as well too. If you're missing something in your apprenticeship, it is notated because there's certain things you should be learning, okay? If you're missing something, then that's when the school will say, okay, let's see if we can pair you with another supervisor that can fill the gap of what you're missing. All right. So you want to make sure you hit all your quotas before you leave that salon, spa, manicuring, apprenticeship, whatever you need. Okay. And so page 9 talks more about the apprenticeship establishment. Here's something new, and I'm highlighting this. I'm going to put it in yellow. You can have 3 people in a salon. Okay. If you have 3 licensed professionals in a salon, they each have 10 hours apiece. Each licensed professional can take up to 3 students. Okay. So each licensed professional that fits the criteria of supervised licensed professional, you can fit up to 3 students. So just say for me, I have my license over 25 years. I can take 3 apprenticeship students and I could use them as working and assisting and training them in the salon. Okay. All right. So I'm highlighting this. This is a recent change as well, guys. Number 6 is highlighted as well. Any salon, shop, or establishment participating in an apprenticeship program, any salon you go into, they must have a workstation for apprenticeship students. So they got to have a space for you, and then they have to put on a marker, something on the board or something on the wall, like a flyer that says you are an apprenticeship student. Let me also say that you must wear a name tag, but the school will make sure you have everything you need when you move into your apprenticeship salon. Okay? The school makes sure you have everything you need, but that is something for you to definitely check out. Hold on. All right, I have to get the doggy together. Other areas for you to look at, not so much in schools, but when you look at it, enrollment as students, this is what you need to look at as well. All right. In order for you to enroll in a school of cosmetology, aesthetics, whatever you think it is, you need to have a copy of the enrollment agreement. All right. Or you can email, it should have emailed you a copy when you completed the agreement. Maintain a copy of the agreement in the student's file. We have it in our documents on our computers, okay, in files. Keep copies of our receipts and payments when you make your initial payments. That's why sometimes we use these digital components, because it sends you a receipt as well. We're all on the same page. I try to restrict Cash App to just like miscellaneous items. Maybe you're buying a t-shirt or something, not for tuition purposes. All right. So we want all tuition, all payments towards tuition to go through our invoicing system. So there is a documented, non-contested, everybody can see everything going on. Okay. We just want to be on the up and up. Everybody needs to see that. All right. We need 2 forms of ID. Okay. We need 2 forms of ID. 2 forms of ID. Those 2 forms of ID must be your driver's license, or you can have a state ID, and either a birth certificate or a social security card. If you have sent in those 2 forms of ID, you are good to go. If you have not, being, our intro into the program, this week is going to be the week that we get those 2 forms of ID. Okay. We are probably going to do an audit on all of our files at the end of the week on our active students. So we're going to put our inactive students who are licensed. We're going to take them out of one file, put them into another, and then we're just going to be working with our active students. But we're doing an audit of that. So please make sure that One of my students, you don't have to worry about. If you're a returning student, you don't have to worry about, I saw your stuff today. So all is well. 14, 15, 16 are all talking about kit requirements for apprenticeship school. There are no kit requirements. If you would like a kit, we can give you the list of the items that are for kits, for the kits for Tennessee. You will have little things that you get. Everybody's going to receive a state board prep kit. A state board prep kit is going to be complimentary. You can use that kit in your salon or in your supervising. It's when you go to your salon or spa for your hours on practical, you'll be able to use that kit as well. Okay, let's highlight this whole little section. And let me take some questions. If you got some questions, put your questions in the chat, or you can unmute. For state board, the minimum passing scores on all exams held by the board shall be 70%. You must pass the state board 70%. That means your theory test, that's one test, 70%. Your practical test is another test. You must pass that with a minimum of 70%. All right. You cannot take them both on the same day, but you can take them right behind each other. All right. You get the schedule when you want to take the test. You also get to schedule how you want to take the test. Do you want to take it on the computer, or do you want to come into the building? And that's the testing building, the PSI testing building. You will have those options. If you say, hey, I want to take it at home in the comfort of my own home, they call that remote testing, REMOTE. You got to make sure no one's in the room with you. Make sure your internet is working. You cannot take it on a phone. You have to take it on a computer, a tablet, laptop, something of that nature. Okay. You got to have your identification. Can't have a phone. Can't have a watch. Can't have any kind of electrical devices in the room with you. Okay. And with schools, a student attends for 60% or the greatest percentage of the hours, I give the credit. Okay, so if a student stay with me the whole time, then their pass or fail grade is going to come to the school. I don't want no fail grades. So that's why we push so hard to make sure you got what you need for your state board prep, because all I want is pass scores. Okay, so you going to state board affects me as well. So that's why we want to make sure that you got what you need. Okay. Here's what's important as well. Number 3, he said the student who graduates from a licensed school must pass all examinations no more than 3 years after passing the initial theory. So just say you finish today, next week you want to go and take your theory exam. You take it, you pass it. Oh, no. Let me give you an example. I had a student pass today. She passed her theory Cosmo today. Okay, shout out to her. She has 3 years, according to the state. She has 3 years to take her practical exam. Y'all, we are not waiting 3 years because something else could change with the law. All right. So she passed today the theory, then she has to take the practical. I want her to take it, okay, by the end of the year. I want her to take it by the end of the year. All right. We got work to do. We need to go into 2027 license. All right. So you're going to see me push a lot of my students who are studying for their exams to take it. All right. And it said apprenticeship students shall complete instructional hours and pass initial theory before you go to the salon. So with all of you guys who are in our apprenticeship program, you must take the theory exam first. Then you'll go finish your salon practical. Then you will take your practical exam. All right. That's simply just basic order on what they do already. Okay. The license fees may vary Okay, but this is something that you would definitely probably see on your exam. All right, you'll see this on your exam. Let's highlight it in yellow. Once you pass your exam, you need to send off for your actual license. It's not automatically sent to you. You have to pay another fee for the license. So once you pass, you have to send off. You have to go online and apply for the actual license. All right. You have to do that within 6 months. Okay. If you are 7 months, you better have a good cause because you're going to have to go before the board and you're going to have to basically tell them why you went past the 6 months. Usually, if you go past the 6 months, you would have to retake the test. All right. So what we need to do is we're going to pass and then we're going to go apply for our license. All right. We're going to apply for our license. I'm going to put this in pink where it talks about retired licenses because it's always a subject that is discussed. A licensee who holds a retired license may request the board to activate the retired license by submitting a written request to the board. So if your license is retired, which means I'm not working right now, but I want to keep my license, you're gonna retire the license. Okay. When you retire, when you're ready to work again, you will have to write into the board, okay, and submit a payment, and they will unretire your license. Okay. And sometimes the board will waive you from retaking the exam. So that's what the pink is there. All right. Coming down more, the training program. Okay. Um, the instructor program is 300 hours. Okay. 300 hours. But instructors, once you're an instructor, you cannot just say my student that passed a Cosmo exam this year. She cannot go to an instructor and say she wants to be an instructor in Tennessee. She has to have that license for 3 years. I take if you got a question, put it in the chat. I'm gonna answer it in 1 minute. So if you're an esthetician, pass your exam today, you gotta get your license today. You gotta hold that license for 3 years before you go back to be an instructor. All right. If you are a lash specialist, you got to hold that license for 3 years and come back and be an instructor. All right. Once you are an instructor, you are required. Okay. You are required to have at least 16 hours. You are required to have at least 16 hours of continuing education every other year. All right. So I'm on an even year. So I had to have my license renewed and my license renewed yearly, but I had to also have my hours, my continuing education every other year. So that means 22, 24, 26, that means 28, so on and so on. Okay, so that's if you guys want to come back and be instructors. All right. On page 18 and 19, you will see the fees. Since this is relevant to Tennessee, please take notice of the fees. All right. There may be a question that asks you, I'm putting these in yellow, anything with that I think you really need to know. Look at all these fees. Tennessee's making some money. I'm gonna put these fees in. I'm gonna put the fees in yellow. All right. So it's going to cost to retire the license. It's going to cost you to transfer your hours or your license from one state to the next. It's going to cost you to certify the hours. Most of the time when you're certifying your hours, you're wanting to use your hours in another state, or you waited so long to take your exam. Maybe the school is not open, maybe anymore. Maybe you move from one school to the next. So you see a lot of people certifying hours. If you call the board and say, check the hours for Amber Reed, they said, give me social, they're going to look in the system. It may be 0 hours. Amber may have 700 hours, right? But it's going to say 0. You have to certify the hours for the hours to pop up. Okay. So I don't want you to call to state board and look for your name and social and say how many hours I have. You have to certify the hours. All right. We send the hours in monthly by the 10th of each month. That is the law. Okay. That's the law for every school in Tennessee. And we update you with the hours. But if you want to call the board, you have to certify the hours, and that costs $25. And if you lose or misplace, you lost, misplaced, or mutilated, cut up your license, that's $25 to get a new one. If you have a name change, that's $10. I mostly tell my students, if you're engaged, when you graduate, you may want to go ahead and get married and then, send off for your license. So there's no additional fees. This is even pricing for licenses for salons. And if you're renewing an eyelash specialty license, it's $60. Your license has to be renewed. Cosmetology, $60. All right. So on and so on. Manicure is $60. Natural hairstyle is $60. It's going to take $60. When we say send off for your license once you pass your exam, you're going to have to get a money order or pay online $60. Okay. Let me go. I got 2 things I need to say. The board is a number on the board. The board has 14 members. Okay, 14 members. And if the board sends you a notice, you must communicate with the board or your license is in jeopardy. They'll hold something or block something, and you got to come. It's like forcing you to come and talk to them. All right, do the right thing so you don't have to go on public notice, because every time you go before the board, it is on YouTube. Okay, it is in agenda notes. All right, it is documented. So sometimes people don't want their business out there like that. So take care of what you need to take care of. All right, let me go to the chat. Okay, no questions, no questions. Awesome. I'm going to send that over to you. Welcome back. And I'm going to send you information for chapter 8 facials for my aesthetic student that came back in. I'm going to share the screen now. Let me pull up SEMA for my last student that's on here. Hold on one moment. And so for my last student that's on here, I'm gonna send you all of the login for SEMA, okay? And SEMA is where you're gonna find your course. Okay. So if you're a last student, I'm going to send you your login. And this is what we call your e-portal, okay? This is where you'll find your ebook and a lot of your assignments. I think aesthetics is still on archive the same way we would get to it. That's how we'll go get it. We'll get to it. I guess my computer is doing some refreshing. Okay, here we go. Log in. Go to eyelash. All right. So yeah, my connection is just off a little bit. Here's your ebook. And then here are your individual chapters. Okay. Here's your ebook. So you can click the ebook. If you want to print a copy, it is an additional cost. I can send a link to maybe purchase on Amazon that's a little cheaper. But right now we just have an ebook available, and also you can print pages from the ebook. It's a limited number of pages per day, but you can literally print pages from the ebook. Here's your table of contents, history, and careers. That's our first that's your first chapter, eyelash extension, history, and careers. All right. And so basically, I've highlighted key areas already in each chapter. These are areas of study. So it talks about being an eyelash technician, and it gives you a little history on what you're coming into. I absolutely love when you're beginning, just simply because a lot of people think of it just doing lashes. It is more than lashes, okay? More than lashes. It's bigger, it's better, it's a big field, still not heavily tapped, so there's plenty of room to make money. And with a lash license, you can do so much more than just do lashes. So very excited about you coming into that program. So yeah, and check-in questions. Okay, this is what you need to know, and I'll send you a separate email. Every chapter, every week, you will need to, one of your assignments will be check-in questions. Making sure that you read the chapter, I will want you to write and answer the check-in questions, and you will send them in. Okay, this is one of your assignments. You will go throughout each chapter, and you'll find that you'll read the lesson, the objective, and then you'll answer the question. All right, you'll turn that in. You'll turn that in via email. Okay, so that's one of your assignments. And actually, that's your first assignment, is reading chapter 1 and completing the check-in questions. As I stated before, I will send that in to you. So it's learning about the history of lash enhancements, things that they did back in the day, 20th century, all the way up to what they're wearing now. Okay, so it gives you a great background. One of the biggest things is scope of practice and law. So knowing your law, and this is why we started the class with state law, and then scope of practice. What can I do with my license? Okay. You do not want to operate outside of your license, but what can I do with my license? And yes, lash technicians in Tennessee can do eyelash lift, brow tint, and brow tint. Okay. And brow lamination. You can do all of that. It comes with the license. Okay. So that's why I say it's bigger than lashes. You got tinting. You do not have waxing. Okay. So you might have to go to another program, get waxing, but we want to stay within our scope of practice. And that's what it means, not working outside of what we were taught or what the law says we can do. Okay. So that's what we have And so you would just continue reading and completing the check-in questions. And that chapter was very easy and it only had one term. Okay, so you have around 8 chapters. Some of them are longer and some of them are very short. So your assignment for this week is talking about let's see, the history of eyelashes, eyelash extension history and careers. So it'll be all about what we can do with our license. Okay, what we can do with our license. Let me stop share here. Let me go back. Share again. Okay. So just like we had that ebook, I want to show you this. And it may take you a little while to get to know the portal. I'm here to assist. I'm here to assist. Let's go back to the dashboard. So there's 2 things that should be coming to our last student, how to clock in and how to log in. You're gonna click your course, eyelashes. Here's your chapter. Let's click that chapter. So this is chapter 1. Without you even opening up the ebook, this is chapter 1. Okay, this is chapter 1. The most important components of every course is going to be the last 3 points of each chapter. You have your slides, your flashcards, and your tests. Your slides, the flashcards, and the exam/test. All right, so you can read ebook here, and then you'll come out the ebook. We have quizzes, and also we have slideshow. Okay, so if you're looking for something more colorful, it is a summary of the book. There we go. It's a summary of the book. So it has pictures and it almost does a better job than the book. All of those are yours. You can even save this. And like I said, pull it up on your phone, pull it up at it's a summary of the book, and you see your check-in questions. So your first chapter has 7 check-in questions. You have to read the chapter and then you answer the questions. Okay. All right. I just wanted to show you guys that, just take a brief intro for my student that's returning. I got to sing you the state law and also sing you about our next chapters coming up. Also for our new student, I'm going to sing you the state law, and I'm also going to sing you how to log in on Homebase. That's the app on your phone. And I'm also going to send you your login information for your portal. And I want to be there with you every step of the way. So no question is a dumb question. When you get ready to log on, we could do it together. Okay? If everybody is good for tonight, put a 1 in the chat for me. A 1 in the chat. Okay. All right, guys. That's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to see you guys in the email. I have a great week. This was also recorded, so I will be sending over this review of the state board. I'm going to try to trim it down a little bit to just state board, but it is on our YouTube. For our new student, I am going to send you our YouTube as well, okay? Our YouTube has a lot of our previous classes on here. So if you miss something one day, it's always, you can probably find that it was recorded, and make sure you're good, okay? All right. Y'all have a blessed evening.